Just firstly, this session is being recorded and I will send you a copy of the recording link afterwards. But if you don't wish to be visible on the screen, you can turn your video off down in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. For those of you I haven't met before, my name's Karen Stone. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and I have been studying Tibetan medicine with Dr. Nida since 2004. So he is my connection to this practice. I am not a lama, I am just your facilitator tonight. We will all hold hands and do it together. Please put yourself on mute unless you're actually asking a question. And because I don't have a moderator, it's easier if we leave the questions to the end and you can either put them in the chat or unmute yourself. A couple of people have asked me about the timing of these, so I just thought before we begin, I would talk a little bit about that. We are meeting, obviously, as you all know, on a full moon tonight, and I'll talk a little bit in a minute about this, but La energy works on a lunar cycle, and the two main nights where you get the most boost from that is the new moon or the full moon. But I always feel, working with this energy for a long time now, with the La massage and then the La hooking, that we get a bigger dose on the full moon. It makes sense. It makes sense. But also we do them seasonally, and the time that I pick is deliberate because we are now in what is known in Tibetan medicine as a transition period. At the end of every season, there is about 18 days where the energies of that particular season return to the earth, and this is known as the transition period. And over the course of the year, it equates to almost another season, interestingly. It's the time where the spleen is most active. It's the organ that very strongly correlates to the earth energy. And we tend to be a little bit more vulnerable. We catch things, we don't feel good, we are uncomfortable, unhappy, not sleeping, any of those other little melodies that, you know, perplex us and trouble our days. So it always seems to me that this transition period, as we move from one season to another, is a good time to replenish and rejuvenate, which is, of course, what we do with this practice. So I hope that makes sense to you. And we will just get going. And I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land from which I greet you today, which for me is the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I honour the living connection to the land and waters of this country, and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. I offer the same respect to any elder who may be present with us here today. I encourage you to take a moment to connect with the traditional owners of the lands that you are joining us from and honour that connection in your own way. And I like to always acknowledge my teacher, Dr. Nida Chinatsang, and offer always my thanks and gratitude to him for his precious teachings and constant wisdom. The La energy. It is a knowledge that was discovered and developed by both Tibetan medicine and Tibetan astrology. Tibetan astrology has a unique understanding as it developed as an isolated system, not influenced by other cultures, but through observation. There was observation of the celestial bodies and their movements, which was called superior astrology, observation of fog, winds, intermediary astrology, and observation of the behaviours of birds, the characteristics of the trees, the forests, and the lakes, and formations of ice on lakes and rivers. And this was known as inferior astrology. As this knowledge grew, so did the understanding of the cycles of the year, the months, days, and of the increasing and decreasing cycles of the moon and of the movements of the sun. They came to understand them with great precision and clarity. In time, this brought the understanding that the external world impacts on the human body, both through astrological cycles and the knowledge that our bodies and our environments are constituted of the same energy, the 5 elements: space, wind, fire, water, and earth. Sorry about that noise. Light energy has a cyclical movement within the body, with the specific points active according to the day of the lunar calendar. So that means in that 30-day period of the lunar calendar, the La will be in a different part of your body. But on the full moon and the dark moon or new moon, however you look at it, we can access all of these points. Light energy is also the pure energy of the 5 elements, the building blocks for the human body. In Tibetan medicine, it's considered to be a very important energy, and it belongs to the triad of protective energy, vital energy, and energy that regulates the duration of life. So we can lose our light energy. Modern life, I think, robs us all of our light energy. But we can lose it due to excessively strong external or invasive therapies. Therapies such as moxibustion, bloodletting, or acupuncture applied to a point where the light energy is present on that day. For external therapies, you'd always check where the energy is and try and avoid using those sort of invasive therapies in that place. Other causes include surgical operations, shock, accidents, childbirth, physical or mental trauma, chronic illness, and acute pain. When somebody's La energy is in good condition, they are physically well and strong, and their mind is clear and happy. Signs that someone has lost their La energy are feelings of sadness, being tired all the time, anxiety, a greyish complexion, confusion, mental nervousness, waking often suddenly from sleep for no reason, and decreased sexual activity. Any of these can be enough to not only cause loss of light energy, but to put somebody's lifespan in danger, as our vital and life energy are affected as well. So this practice for hooking back the life force is part of the Yuthok Nyingthig, long life empowerment that vanquishes the Lord of Death. It sounds very good. It is a unique practice, as is everything within the Yuthok Nyingthig, to call back the wandering life force, the lifespan, and the vital force. It can be performed for others or for oneself. There'll be appropriate points in the text where we refer to, in the text it says the patron. In that instance, you would, in your own mind, say your own name, but you can also do this for someone else. So if there's someone that you are trying to help with this practice, you can say their name, or you can say both. I think the more there is, the more there is. So we're using the datar, the long life arrow, with 5 coloured ribbons, blue, white, yellow, red and green, representing the 5 elements, space, water, earth, fire and wind. One visualises oneself with long life, Hayagriva and Vajrayana union, calling upon the 4 dakinis and their special activities, pacifying, increasing, controlling and destroying. We hook back the lost life force from the 10 directions, which is the sky above, the earth underneath, the 4 cardinal and intercardinal directions. The result is restored physical and energetic health and vitality, prolonged lifespan, and increased clarity and happiness in the mind. So when people are part of this rejuvenating and restoring process, you can see it in their face. Often their complexion becomes very rosy, their skin and their eyes look very clear. They have that inner strength and confidence that comes from having all your energy back in place. Sometimes it will happen straight away. Sometimes it comes in slowly over a few days. The effect does continue for quite a few days after this session that we do tonight. It's not uncommon for me to get emails from people later in the week saying, oh, this happened and that happened. Highly likely that whatever your particular time is right now, when you do eventually get to bed, that you'll sleep very well. Pay attention if you have any significant dreams. That's also very common. But yeah, so it's a very ancient process, and the benefits are very real. So, just before we start, just take a moment now, and everyone's got a compass on their phone, and just work out where the 4 main directions are, because as we progress through this, you'll need to move your body physically and face in one of the 4 directions so I'll give you all a minute to do that. Mm. For this first part now, we are hooking back the lifespan. And if you have had appropriate initiations, you can visualize yourself as Long Life Hayagriva and Vajravahari. Otherwise, just focus on the image, and you don't need to do anything other than just focus on this and imagine or visualize either yourself as a deity or the deity in front of you. If that's too hard for you, just focus on the image here. And we're going to say this mantra 3 times. Om Ahum Benza Guru. Benza Maha Guru Sava Guna Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Sava. Mum Lam Mam Pam Tam Maharini Satita Ting Shing Sava Siddhi Samayatza Hum Bam Ho. Benza Ayushi Hum Rum Nitza. Om Ahum Benza Maha Guru Sava Guna Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Sava. Om Lam Mam Pam Tam Maharini Sita Shing Shing Sava Siddhi Shamayasa Hum Bam Ho. Benza Ayushe Hum Hum Sa Om Ahum Benza Mahaguru Sava Guna Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Swaha Mum Lam Mam Tam Tam Mahalina Tsa Sit Shing Hing Hing Sawa Siddhi Samaya Tsung Hum Bam Ho. Benza Ayushe Hum Hum Sa. Now, focusing on the image. Having imagined that from the hearts of the assembly of deities, supreme emanated messengers of indefinite colour ornamented in silks and jewels, holding lifespan hooking hooks, longevity vases, and arrows tied with silk ribbons, pervade everywhere in every cardinal and intercardinal direction, above and below innumerably. Having perceived that the collected lifespans of the 3,000-fold world system without exception, the 3 realms and 3 levels of existence, of the threefold worldly goods, demons and humans, and especially one's own life's force and lifespan wandering about, has all been hooked back by means of the syllable Mri. So let's read this again. As we go through this, really feel this in your heart. Have faith in the deities that through their blessing, your lifespan, so we're looking on the lifespan now, is being returned to you, being topped up. Lat sukte tulwe po nyachuk. Kudokma ne da drang rinshenjen. Se gukcha kun su bangdanam. Drang mene choktan ten o kunye kyapte. Dong summa lukam sum si pasum. Ladre misum namki tse tuching. Ke padak jila tse ya dangyam. Tamche yejini istu dukuk. So your lifespan has been returned to you. And now imagine that they dissolve back into you and you obtain the city of deathlessness. So now with this next part, we're calling back the wandering life force as well as topping up the lifespan. Again, focusing on the deities. The Hum, which is the condensed glory of the supreme seat of the conqueror Buddhas of the 3 times. The principal magnetizing activities of Father Hayagriva and Mother Vajravahari in ecstatic union. The emanations, secondary emanations, and their retinues, having come forth at this time, perform the activities of hooking back the life force and lifespan from the sky above and the earth underneath. Crush into dust the demonic emissaries of the Lord of Death. Chop into pieces the heads of the gods and demons who cut the vital force. Cut the red life channels of the executioner spirits who take the breath away. Hook back now the wandering life force and lifespan of the patron. So say your own name. Again, really feel this in your heart. Visualize this being returned to you. So not only is your lifespan being topped up, but your life force is being brought back. Dusum gilwe sukchok du pepel. Tapak yam yung wang ji le tso. Trulpa yang tulkor che dul bla bap ting ola zekuk pechin le tso. Chitak duki pona dildulok. Sokchu la dregu telpako. Uklen shime sokpa zoma chu. Yorundak le latse jampudala takuk. So now we will be starting to visualize the dakinis, and now you can turn your direction to face east, southeast. Our first is the Vajra Dakini. Her element is water. Her power is to pacify. And we call on her from the east and the southeast. I'll give you a minute to find your spot. Close your eyes. Really be open to feeling this energy being restored to you. She calls back all the lost La energy from anywhere that has been lost in the past, even sometimes as far back as past lives. So wherever your La energy has been lost, she very quietly and calmly pulls it all back for you, releasing anything that's holding on to it. And you'll be visualizing it returning to your heart or your head, or just filling your whole body, washing over you like a wave. Or Vajradakini, who holds the iron hook and dark blue vase, having come forth at this time, along with your emanations, secondary emanations, and all the retinues who conduct pacifying actions, fulfill your pledges. Look back the lifespan from the east and southeastern directions, crushing to dust the demonic emissaries of the Lord of Death. Chop into pieces the heads of the worldly gods and demons who cut the vital force. Cut the red life channels of the executioner spirits who take the breath away. Book back now the wandering life force and lifespan of the patrons. Say your own name there. Duje kando chakyu ting bumzin. Diwe le tse tru pa yang tru chiko chik tuk dam shel shi du balabap. Shadang shalo chukne tse kukchik. Chidak duchi punya duldulok. Sok choladre du telpako. Uklen she me so da ma pocho. Yundakla te kiampo da tachu. Sit for a minute and feel from the Vajradakini or your La returning from everywhere it's been lost, especially from the past, even past lives. Returning to your heart or your head or washing over you like a wave. And now you're moving around again and you're facing to the south, southwest. And we have our beautiful Ratna, our jewel Dakini. And she's golden in color. And her element is earth, and her power is increasing. We'd like our gold to increase. Sorry about that. I keep having to admit people that moves the mouse. So position yourself south, southwest. And all the La comes back, in this case, as a golden light. Get yourself comfortable and close your eyes. And it comes from all the elements of nature, particularly things to do with the earth, the plants, the trees, the mountains, springs, rivers, ocean, even from beyond earth, from the stars. Infinite golden dakinis surround you with the golden light as they hook back your La, your happiness, your joy, and your energy. You're visualizing this beautiful golden light surrounding you. A jewel dakini who holds the iron hook and golden vase. Having come forth along at this time with your emanations, secondary emanations, and all their retinues who conduct increasing actions, fulfill your pledges. Look back the lifespan from the southern and southwestern directions. Crush into dust the demonic emissaries of the Lord of Death. Chop into pieces the heads of the worldly gods and demons who cut the vital life force. Cut the red life channels of the executioner spirits who take away breath. Look back now the wandering life force and life span of the sponsor. So just visualizing while I read it again, countless emanations of this beautiful jewel dakini surrounding you with golden light as they return your La from all directions. Lenshin kandro chakyu se bunsin, gipe letu trul pa yang trul che ko che, tuk dam zel te dulabap, lo dang lo no nuk chuk ne te kuk chik, chitak tuki ponya dundunuk, sok chuladre guwo del pa ko. Uklen sheme tukta ma pacho, yundak latse kyampo da ta kuk. Sit for a minute and really connect with this energy flowing back into you. So now you get to move again, and you are facing west, northwest, as we invoke the Lotus Dakini, the fire Dakini, and her power is controlling. Get yourself settled, close your eyes, feel the power from the Lotus Dakini. She hooks back La, energy, lifespan, fortune, and control. So sometimes when we lose our La energy, we feel we've lost control of our life. So this is something she returns to you from the mountains, from plants, from the stars, that La that you lost when you were in the womb, when you were born, and through all the ages of your life. She is pulling that back for you. And the light dissolves into your head, your throat, your heart, your navel, and your base. So coming in to the 5 chakra places on your body. And she very powerfully pulls back that La. O Lotus Dakini, who holds the iron hook and copper vase, having come forth at this time with your emanations, secondary emanations, and all the retinues who conduct controlling actions, fulfill your pledges. Book back the lifespan from the western and northwestern directions. Crush into dust the demonic emissaries of the Lord of Death. Chop into pieces the heads of the worldly gods and demons who cut the vital force. Cut the red life channels of the executioner spirits who take away the breath. Book back now the wandering life force and lifespan of this patron. Say your name there. And we read it again and visualizing this energy coming back to your head, your throat, your heart, your navel, and your base chakras. Uklen Shemot So Tama Pocho Yondak La. Sorry, I started with the wrong bit then. Pemakandro Chak Kyutang Bunzen. Wangji Lete Trul Pa Yung Trul Cheko Chek Tunam Selze Duba Labab Nuptan Nupjang Chukne Tseku Chik Chitak Duki Pona Dultunok Sokchu Ladre Gur Zelpako Ulen Seme Sokcha Pama Cho Yundak Late Kyampat Odat Ku. So we sit for a moment and feel this energy returning to you. Now turning to our final direction, north and northeast, for our beautiful green action Dakini. Her power is that of wind. And as we've come closer to invoking her, the wind around my place has become manic. It's really funny. Her power is just, her element is wind, her power is destroying. Get yourself directed and close your eyes. She's the Karma Dakini and is very powerful, can be wrathful. She is destroying anything that is holding onto your La energy, particularly things that have happened to you in your past that have been of a negative nature, anything bad that has happened to you, anything frightening or terrifying that has happened to you, great trauma, great fear, great sorrow. All these things take our La. So she is destroying the connection to those past events so that your La energy can return to you. She works very swiftly. Often people really feel this one coming back. Oh, Action Dakini, who holds the iron hook and turquoise vase. Having come forth at this time, along with your emanations and secondary emanations and all their retinues who conduct wrathful actions, fulfill your pledges. Look back the lifespan from the north and northeastern directions. Crush into dust the demonic emissaries of the Lord of Death. Chop into pieces the heads of the devas, samsaric devas and demigods, and demons who cut the vital force. Cut the red life channels of the executioner spirits who take away the breath. Look back now the wandering life force and lifespan of the sponsor, so say your name. And really lean into this one and feel it. It can be very powerful. We'll just read through it again. Lekandra chaki yungbunzin, drakpo lete trilpa yang tril cheko, chek tudamzel, ze dulabap. Jandang jansha chokne te kichek, chidak duki punya duldudok, so chok la drego tsilpa ko, uklen sheme tsukta pamacho, yondak la se kyampo data kupche te kupche. And just sit for a minute with that energy returning to you from anything that has caused you fear or great distress or sorrow in the past.
Oh, ada pertanyaan.
Now you can face forward again. And as we have summoned all these beautiful dakinis, we're going to do a mala of the dakini mantra. And as we say this together, really visualize the infinite numbers of dakinis who are at this very moment flooding you with all your La energy, your lifespan, your vigor, everything that has been lost for so many reasons is coming back to you right now in this beautiful rainbow light of them all around you. So I'm just going to read the mantra now, Karuna Raja. The mantra is Bam Hari Nisa. This is the mantra of the 5 Dakinis. Bam Hari Nisa, 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 Bam Hari Nisa. We say 5-line prayer to Yuthok. As this practice is from the Yuthok Nyingthik, the secret union of all Buddhas of the 3 times, I pray from the depths of my heart and bones, bless me through your body, speech, and mind. Grant me the supreme and common cities. And then just to seal the practice today, Om Yadama Hitam Tabawa Hitam Tishan Tatagato Hayawadi Tishan Sayunirada Evan Mandi Mahashamana Sofa. Om Yadama Hitam Tabawa Hitam Tishan Tatagato Hayawadi Tishan Sayunirada Evan Mandi Mahashamana Sofa. Om Yadama Hitam Tabawa Hitam Tishan Tatagato Hayawadi Tishan Sayunirada Evan Mandi Mahashamana Sofa. And there we have it. And I must apologize to you all. I broke my glasses this afternoon and I could only find an old pair. So my reading of Tibetan was dreadful. I must apologize. But you will all get a link to the recording. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Yeah, I have one. This is
Yeah.
Karuna Raja.
Hi.
Hi. It was a pleasure to be here with you today and
Thank
to
you.
go through the process. I thought your Tibetan was just fine, actually.
Thank you.
Question. Is there a way to receive the document for this, so that
Yes.
we may practice it later on?
Yep. I can put that in the chat now for you all. And you can
Okay.
just download it. It's just a PDF. Where are we? There you go. That's in the chat. If you have trouble accessing it, you can reach out to me. I'll put my email address as well. Or you can find me through the social networks if that's where you came across this. If you'd like to get on a mailing list to be notified of these sort of things, you can also write to me at that email address. What was your other question?
Oh, that was it. But
Oh, that
thank
was it.
you.
Okay,
I'll send you an email.
great.
Thank you.
Because look, you can do these things at any time. Yes. I don't think that it's not going to work if you do it. It's just going to work better if it does coincide with either the full moon or the new moon. But yeah, and yes, I believe it does build fortitude as you gradually restore your La energy. I think it's actually something that we really suffer from in modern life, that this vital life force gets eroded very easily, just from stress and the way we live. Thank you, Pranav. Thank you. It's really important to keep topping it up, like you would top up a rechargeable battery. Yeah. So it makes perfect sense to me. So yes, you can do this on your own. I just offer it, as I say, every couple of months, because it's always better when there's a few of us doing it together. If you get the chance to receive it from Dr. Nita, that's always good. He does offer it from time to time online. So yeah. Any other questions? Most of you are all hands now anyway. You don't need to hear from me. If you're interested, on Monday nights we meet and do a Shannon Protector practice together. But again, you can find that stuff on social media as well, or if you want to email me. Is that file downloaded now? Yes. Yeah, so you can just download that PDF. That was what you were looking at tonight as we worked through. Galia, no, you can't hook the La for someone who's already passed. No, there are different practices for that because it's a life force energy. It's yeah. But there's lots of things you can do. But it's always very powerful to invoke all the Dinkinis together, I think. Thank you, Lara. So if nobody else has any questions, thank you all for joining me tonight and from all the corners of the world, which is really lovely. And we will do this again towards the end of November. That's the next time. So towards the end of spring here in Melbourne and of autumn in the Northern Hemisphere. And in the meantime, if there's anything else going on, I'm starting to offer more classes again. Last year was a bit busy for me. So those things will pop up on the socials, or if you want to hop onto the mailing list, we can let you know. Otherwise, stay safe, stay well, stay happy. Don't watch the news too much. And enjoy your vitality and your energy and your superpowers returning to you over the next few days. Okay? Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.